Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, February 13th, better known as Galentine's Day, and it is Fat Tuesday. We got a lot of celebrations, in fact, on tap today, and they all involve food and drinking. Gluttony before Lent begins. Of course, tomorrow, Ash Wednesday. Are you aware of that? Ash Wednesday and Valentine's Day falling on the same day, which could create some problems for those of you that decide to give up certain food, or maybe you give up drinking for 40 days. So remember that if you are heading out tomorrow. If you're giving up alcohol for Lent, maybe you start with a mocktail tomorrow. I do hope you're having a great start to your day. We got a lot to run down. We'll get to that in just a bit. Let's start with what the weather, because there literally is something coming out of your mouth on Friday, which will probably be what? Where'd this come from? So yesterday, I didn't hear one meteorologist talking about any problems with rain or snow moving in. However, that is the case right now. Meteorologists are saying a 30% chance of maybe some snow coming in on Friday. But before we get to that, we're going to have some beautiful weather. It's going to feel like spring training. The Cardinals, by the way, the pitchers and catchers in Jupiter, Florida. I wish we were all able to take you to Florida and have that kind of weather, but it's going to feel like it, at least for the next few days. For today, expect a high of about 57 with some sunshine. Then tomorrow, even warmer. Sun will be shining 61 to 62 for a high. On Thursday, a little cooler, still a mix of some clouds and sun, and it will be in the low 50s. And then here's the watcher. Coming in on Friday, a 30% chance right now. Could that go lower? Could that go higher? Of course, it's still kind of churning in the Pacific Ocean, so we'll be watching this one for sure. But on Friday, you could see rain, you could see snow, or it could be a mixture. So we'll bring our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore back later this week as we get ready to head into the weekend. And much cooler, by the way, as we head into Friday. And then we bounce back and we'll see 50s and 60s come back again. So the next few days, enjoy the weather. But on Friday, just be watching, just be aware. In fact, some meteorologists are saying maybe you could even see a sprinkle pop in on Thursday, but it's more so Friday is the watcher day. So there's your weather for the morning. All right, let's run down some things today on this Tuesday, February 13th. Welcome aboard. If you're brand new to the show, we do this every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. The show is all about bringing you happiness, positivity, bringing you some light in what could be a dark place for some of you. I know a lot of you are struggling in different aspects. You kind of go up and down. It's our job and our goal to give you a little light and have you say, gosh, at least I started my day right, instead of a horrible start to your day. That's truly why we do what we do. So if you're new to the show, welcome aboard. If you've been a longtime viewer and listener, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. When we started this back on March 1st last year, we're coming up almost on a year anniversary from the initial launch of the show. And then here in the studios, it was in June. So we're coming up on that year anniversary in the next few months as well. Today, February 13th, it's Galentine's Day. It's Fat Tuesday. Big celebrations going on in New Orleans. They get ready for the beignets. They get ready for the etouffee. It's a big day on tap for them. Big day here in St. Louis as well. Of course, the Grand Parade was well attended. The Purina Pet Parade the week before well attended. So a lot of people will be celebrating Fat Tuesday here in St. Louis as well. National Pancake Day at IHOP. National Cheddar Day. If you're German, it's Fast Knock Day. And then it's also Punchki Day, all of those having to do with food, which is kind of ironic that today, and I didn't do this on purpose, but our guest today that we will have on knows all about food and wine and just the events and the celebrations that she's been able to do over the last 15 years. We're going to have Angela Ortmann, STLWinegirl, on, and her big celebration 15 years ago when she had her dream and her passion to launch her own brand. So we'll talk with Angela here shortly. We do have our big VIP giveaway for the 37th annual St. Louis Working Women's Show that's coming up this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center. We'll be there with you Friday and Saturday. We've got a booth that we'll have 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll be there with you on Saturday. I will be on the main stage speaking at 1:30 in the afternoon before we bring on Allison Arngrim. Allison's the celebrity this year, and she will be on the main stage at 2 p.m. on Saturday, and we'll get an opportunity to bring her on, do a little Q&A with her as well, and then just enjoy the day. If you've never never been to the Working Women Show, it is a blast. Get your girlfriends. Who knows? I mean, there's probably guys that are going to go there as well. Couples could go, mom, daughter, co-workers, whatever. It's going to be a really good time. Tickets are on sale at www.ssonline.com. But before you buy those, you might have an opportunity to win a VIP package today. The ultimate VIP will be given away tomorrow, and that includes a meet and greet with Allison on Friday. You can be at the chef's table on Sunday where they do who's doing the cooking, or you could have a makeover on the fashion stage. There's just so much, beating all the lines, great parking, etc. So at the end of today's show, you have got to watch all the way through. We will give away the VIP tickets today. How do you do that? We'll give you a little more time to register. All you do is go to my website, TheRealMonicaAdams.com, and then click on contact. Make sure that we have your email and your name, and then we'll be pulling. Michelle's actually going to pull a name for me, and we'll announce that winner at the end of the show. Tomorrow on Valentine's Day, we also have a beautiful package put together by Sugar Loaf Farms, and thank you so much for everything that they do, all their natural products. Michelle will drop that in for you. There you go. It's Sugar Loaf Farms, and we will be giving that away for you tomorrow on Valentine's Day. Thank you so much to everyone that's been giving us different opportunities for packages for you as well. And then we'll give away 2 tickets for the 15th anniversary event with STLWinegirl, which is coming up later this month. So giveaways galore. Again, we will have merchandise. People have been asking about these Know Your Value journals that we have. Journals, as well as the jackets and the t-shirts, are all supposed to be ready for us. We will have that merchandise for those of you that are coming by to see us at the Working Women's Show. We're going to have Wet Your Whistle Wednesday tomorrow with our friends at Defiance Ridge Vineyards in Defiance, Missouri. Chuck Galentine will be talking about Chardonnay and doing a little tasting with him. Positive Talk Time is back with Jessica Cook, and we've got a new dog we're going to feature. His name is Theo. I got a chance to meet him a couple of weeks ago. It's always my hope that when I take these pictures and video that may be coming up to the show that they won't be available, because again, the ultimate goal is that they get their forever home. If Theo's still available, though, we'll showcase him on Thursday. That's with Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa and Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. And then coming up on the 22nd, Sisters Sandwich Shop. We are going to be on Devonshire again, right there, Devonshire and Macklin, a live lunchtime show. So make some plans. Put it on the calendar now. Grab your coworkers. Even if you can just come by and get a sandwich to go, I would love to see you. They would as well. Remember, it's all about supporting local. And we've got a couple things just to tell you about these mobile Monica shows. A lot of businesses asking if we can come to where your business or your restaurant or you've got an event that you want to promote. Yes, we can bring the show live to you. Shoot me an email. I've had a lot of meetings about those lately. info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. And I want to get you involved, by the way. We keep talking about how we want you to be a part of our team. So here's what I'm going to start doing. We're going to make Monica bucks, Monica moolah, Monica money. It's money that you're going to get if you have someone who signs up for a business spotlight, if you have someone that signs up for maybe a special event that we do live from their place, or they become a sponsor. Different aspects of money that you'll be able to spend within our brand. Maybe it's for merchandise, maybe it's for personal training, maybe it's for life coaching. Any aspect of what we provide to you, you'll have money. Could be $25, $50, $75, $100. You don't know. All you have to do is bring somebody to us, and if they come on board with us, there you go. That's my way of saying thank you for being a part of that. That's a rundown of a lot of things coming up, and I do also want to let you know, for those of you that take Lyft or Uber, or maybe you use DoorDash, the workers with those companies are planning to strike. That's the news you're going to see all over. NBC News, Reuters, they're all talking about it this morning. So a strike on a very important day, on Valentine's Day. They might not be able to get you to your location. They might not be able to bring in your food. Now, the companies say it's not going to disrupt their organization, but how can it not? So all those workers, not in the U.S. only, but U.S. and U.K., they are pushing for fair pay. So keep an eye on that. If you use Lyft or DoorDash or Uber, a strike is right around the corner, according to all the news this morning. And that's what we give you, news you can use. I hope you're all having a great start to your day. I'm going to look at your comments and your good mornings, and I will give you a shout out to each and every one of you. Always want to make sure that you're heard. And if you have any questions or comments as we bring my guest in, again, many of you may know her. Many of you maybe have had a chance to go to events that she's planned, or you're just going to fall in love with her here this morning because she is absolutely amazing. Her name is Angela Ortmann, but she's better known as STLWinegirl, and she will be my guest in the blue chair when we return.
Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online EnvitaHealthandWellness.com. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show since we launched back in March. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Personal training, life coaching, and styling as well. Info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com.
Welcome back. It is 7:11 and thrilled to have you with us. Welcome aboard. If I said that you're new, well, hey, I love it. Thank you. And I'd love to know who introduced you if you just came across us. Good morning to Diane, Julie, Joe. Yes, the links are all coming up. Michelle's working feverishly in there for you for everything that you need. Dana, happy birthday. I think somebody said it was your birthday today. Hope you have a great one. Good morning to Stephanie. Quick question. Are we able to order and pay for any of your products by check or credit card? I don't do PayPal. Yes, you can go to the website. The journals are already available on there, by the way. You should be able to use a credit card on there. And when you come to the Working Women Show where we have all the merchandise, we will have an opportunity for you to use credit card for sure. One year anniversary, I know, is right around the corner. We're talking about anniversaries today. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Michelle. Everybody, thank you so much. And we'll keep an eye on the page as well for any questions you have. Yeah, anniversaries. That's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about food and wine and events and having a passion and having a drive and leaping. All those things that this beautiful woman had a chance to do many years ago. Let me bring her on. Angela Ortmann is my guest. STLWinegirl, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Love the red. Getting ready. Galentine's Day.
Exactly.
Right? And we have some beautiful flowers, by the way, that we want to thank. Are you familiar with wildflowers? Sarah Ward is, yes, when you want to buy flowers, she provided these for us, and I'll give you a little rundown of what's in that vase. But it's not too late to order flowers for yourself, for friends, or for a loved one if you're in a romantic relationship getting ready for Valentine's tomorrow. So reds and pinks all over the set for sure. Let's give people a little background for those that are not familiar with you and your brand. You've worked, right now, are you still with Casa Don Alfonso?
No.
Not. Okay, so last time I had a chance to see Angela, she was kind of doing celebrity, kind of fill-in, sommelier, and I was like, hi, I love that you were here. So you did that for a year and a half?
It was I was there full-time consulting and helping out for about 6 months, but it was about a year that I was like popping in and out as needed, as they found a really great sommelier to fill in. So
okay. But her background though is amazing. I didn't know you were with the St. Regis.
Yes, I opened a restaurant called Ame and opened the St. Regis in San Francisco while I lived there, and so I spent about 5-6 years in San Francisco, and I worked in a lot of the 4- and 5-star luxury restaurants and hotels. So then when I moved back to St. Louis, I worked at the Chase and the Ritz before starting my business. So
I'm trying to remember where you and I first met. I guess was it with Fox? Because she used to come in a lot, did a lot of stuff with Randy Naughton, and that might be where you and I met. I don't know, or you met me through my brother.
Right. I was like, it's either, I think maybe we got to know each other from the channel, but then cross paths more because your brother is in wine and
right. Yes, and the love of wine is what we're talking about today. The love of wine, the love of food, the love of celebration. I laughed because I was like, oh my gosh, Valentine's and Ash Wednesday are on the same day, and a lot of people give up certain foods and wine and things like that. Yeah, it might be hard tomorrow.
I think a lot of restaurants had that realization maybe over the weekend and realized, we should definitely be seafood heavy on Wednesday.
Yes.
So hopefully, but there's a lot of people who whichever way you recognize those things. But yeah, it's going to be, I think there's a lot of lobster coming out tomorrow.
A lot of lobster, yes. So, okay, we're talking a little bit about your background, but the love of food and wine, where did it originally come from in your life?
So I had always worked in restaurants while I was a student because, quick money, everything. And I mean, like, my family cooked and everything, but we weren't like really like, we didn't go out to eat a lot. We didn't like, it wasn't ingrained in me. But when I moved to San Francisco after finishing at Mizzou and moving out there for another school, restaurants were the easiest. And all of a sudden I was like in this world where I'm like, what do you mean we know exactly where the mushrooms came from? What do you mean this fish was caught today? Because I just had never experienced that in the Midwest, especially, I won't age myself, but a long time ago. And I think it became something that was just so intriguing to me. And then, then wine entered the picture and I was like, I know, like, the Missouri wineries that we went to while I was in college, and I know...
Rolling down the hill at
I know Cabernet's red, I know Chardonnay's white, like, what else is there? And then a whole new world was opened up to me, and I don't know, I fell in love with it, and I think I just always have enjoyed the hospitality. Like, I love food, I love wine, I can talk about it all day long, but I think it's also the hospitality of it, and just, like, introducing people to new things, and just, like, the joy it brings me to, like, pair a wine and food and watch people see what it does when those things come together, well, is something that I just really love that experience. So I think that's what drives me. Sure. And I just want to eat and drink all the things. So
all the things.
All the things.
All the experiences, which again, we have tried to do over the last several months. A lot of people have enjoyed. We started Wet Your Whistle Wednesday back in the fall, which has been so much fun. And a lot of people are like, gosh, what I've really learned is opening up your mind to different aspects of the pairings. Mm-hmm. Where usually people are like, I'm just opening a wine. I don't know what the heck to serve with this. Right. I think that's a true art. I mean, that's the passion you have.
That is definitely one of the things I'm really passionate about because, I'm very much like drink what you like, but I'm also like, could be a wine that you don't maybe want to drink by itself, but if I paired it with the right food, you would see like the total difference because like, it's just like, you think of wine as like a condiment, like it affects what you eat and what you eat affects the wine that you taste. Mm-hmm. So there's a way to put those things together. Like, I mean, maybe you don't put barbecue sauce on your risotto, but if you know what I mean? Like, there's a way to kind of pair things together that makes sense, or it's this, like, kind of this third synergy of taste.
Well, I think the thing that I've always loved is we are very, very lucky in some true artists in our chefs that we have here in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Right? I can look back 20, 30 years ago, and I was never saying that, and then all of a sudden you started to see that come onto the scene. I love going to different wine dinners and seeing where their mind goes and what they pair, and sometimes taking you out of your comfort zone to go, I don't want to try that, or I've never had that, but... Okay, and for me it was that, like, there was a lot of game that was paired with different, like Bordeaux dinners and stuff that I went to, and I was like, I don't eat, okay, what the heck? And then all of a sudden I went, it's not what I thought it would be.
And I think those are the experiences because, when you go to the store and you buy a bottle of wine, or if you're at a restaurant you order a bottle of wine, it's a commitment, right? Like, and it's also a gamble, so you're not as maybe open to ordering something that you're not sure if you're going to like. So dinners and tastings and pairings and like that, it opens you to be able to taste things that maybe you wouldn't have had the opportunity to before, and maybe some things you don't think you like, because I think a lot of people get caught up in I've had a Merlot before and I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, but like, where was it from? And like, how is it? Because like, it's that the spectrum is so huge of how wine can be. And I think like, maybe that's something I love, is like proving people wrong. I guess my stubborn nature comes in and I want to be like, no, I'm going to prove to you that you do like this. But I think it's really, my whole goal is always to take the intimidation factor out of it. Like, wine can be, not that wine can't be serious. I can geek out with people as much as they'd like, but for me, it's about how do you incorporate this into your everyday life? Or if you are, like, tomorrow night, you're going out, I want you to be able to drink something that you're going to really love, and you're not intimidated by it, you're not overwhelmed by it. Right. It introduces you to something new. Like, that's the fun of it. I don't want it to seem like, you don't know anything, then you shouldn't be able to drink this.
And Angela, I'm so glad you said that. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Angela Ortmann. We're talking about STLWinegirl and her 15-year celebration, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But I think that is the problem that I've heard from so many people, and I'm sure you have as well, is it's the intimidation factor. Mm-hmm. You open up a menu, they give you a wine menu, and some of these restaurants have like pages and pages and pages pages and you're like, I have no clue. That's why you want to turn it over to someone who really knows it. Hopefully a restaurant has somebody on hand that can come over and say, okay, let me help you with this.
Right.
So that you don't feel like you're lost or feel like someone's going to laugh at you because you're choosing something you don't know what the heck you're doing.
Exactly.
And you don't have to look at it all and think, oh my gosh, look at these prices. If I want a good wine, I got to spend an exorbitant amount of money. And you know that's not true.
That is absolutely not true. And I think that's also because the wines that people get told, like, oh, Napa Cabs are everything. And can be a very pricey bottle. So people panic and think, well, if I can't afford that, it's not going to be a good wine. Or they're worried that the person at the restaurant or even at the wine shop is going to judge them if they're not spending all of that money. And for us, I'd rather you find a $12, $15 bottle that you love that you're going to keep buying, because if you find a $150 bottle you like, you're going to buy that once, twice a year, if that.
And you want to continue to help the industry.
But finding those value wines that you love, that's really what it's about, because that's what you're going to open on the back deck over the summer. That's what you're going to, if a friend stops over, those are things you're going to open, not these crazy, expensive, fancy, over the top wines.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. So we're talking about the love of food and wine. And again, it's a perfect time to be talking about that. We're talking Mardi Gras. We're talking about Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day. I know a lot of you doing your celebrations. Marilyn just said, my last dinner and wine pairing was at Carmine's downtown years ago. More like an event and so enjoyable evening with friends. What I loved the most was the description of how and where the grapes were grown. Very informative and love. Yeah, and I've said that before, that there's so many levels of what goes into just that one bottle of wine, and the passion and the farming aspect, the agricultural aspect. And I don't think people realize that. They're just like, oh, let's just pop open a bottle.
Right. And that's where, when I said, somebody says, like, oh, I don't like Chardonnay. And you're like, okay, but there's so many, you know what I mean, where it grows, how it's made, whether it's oaked or unoaked, there's so many different choices that are made, not only from the planting to the farming to the harvesting to the winemaking. There's like 10 stops along the way that choices are made. It's like choose your own adventure books, right? Like those same grapes can be made into 25 completely different tasting wines, even though they're grown in the same, right next to each other.
Absolutely.
So I think that, and that's what kind of contributes to the intimidating part, because like, how am I supposed to know all of that? But we're not asking you to learn all of that. Like, that's why we learn it, right? So, and I think that it's just, sometimes you find a little region that you're like, oh, I'm interested in these wines, and you just kind of get into that for a little while. And I think that helps take some of the intimidation out of it. And I have people that have been coming to my events for years or classes, and they will send me a picture of the by the glass list at whatever restaurant they're at, and they're like, this is the dish I just ordered, what wine should I choose?
I love that.
And I'm like I'm out with my friends, and I'm like, oh, this is what you should order, so, and I love that. That's what I want to be for people. And like, I want them to feel like the hope is that they would feel comfortable asking their server or a sommelier, but some people are still shy to do that. And I get it, but I'm just telling everyone, we're not judging you. Like, if you give us the chance to recommend something to you, that's what we want. We'd rather you ask so that we can introduce you to cool stuff that maybe you wouldn't have tried before, than just getting the same thing you always get and feeling like, oh, I just had the same thing I always have.
I love that friends do that too, because see, you are their friend, but you have that role, and it's like, oh, I have my own personal sommelier that is right here in my pocket. I'm just going to reach out to her. So when did you, by the way, decide that you wanted to go that level?
So it was while I was working in San Francisco. I think I just kind of showed interest, and I guess maybe like the people I was working with noticed that I was kind of trying to learn, and they they were like, if you want to like study for certifications, like, well, whatever bottles you need, whatever. And so that helped facilitate me. And for me at the time, it was, oh, I could make more money at what I'm doing. But then like I fell like in full geek mode about it and went like down the rabbit hole. So it's like, you go to school for, you study like business. And then I studied interior design, not interior design, but like interior architecture and design. And then I became a sommelier, and it's like, I think my dad was like, okay, well, what are you going to do with all of this? And technically I started a business where I'm using all of it.
Yes,
so
Dan.
I help people like plan when they're opening a new restaurant. You know, I'm technically doing all of that.
Yes, you are. Well, and that's really what I wanted to talk about today as well. We'll take a break and let's get into that aspect because there's so many people that watch this show on a regular basis and are looking for inspiration, looking to follow their dreams and their passions, even though some people might guide them this way or guide them that way. No, do this, don't do that. And you have to follow your heart, which she did. So we're going to talk more about that. We'll talk about the big event coming up. I'm going to be giving away 2 tickets to her event. We've got our big VIP package to give away to the Working Women Show near the end of the show. We've also got our package we'll give away to Sugar Loaf Farm and the Ultimate VIP tomorrow as well. So some big giveaways over the next couple of days. Tell your friends. And right now, if you can, share, like, and follow on YouTube and on Facebook. And again, thank you, by the way, for tuning in. We'll have more with STLWinegirl, Angela Ortmann, when we return.
We need women to lift women up.
Let's do that. Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives.
I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with her viewers and her listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey! You're close!
Monica! Whoa!
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind.
Welcome back, 727. Thank you again for tuning in. We are in the Invita Health and Wellness Studios. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you, and we couldn't do it without all of you that are watching. Looking at your comments, and also I said I was going to let you know what's in this beautiful bouquet that we have. Thank you to Sarah Ward at Wildflowers STL. It's wildflowersstl.com. They're located at 2754 Lafayette. There it is. So what you're looking at, hearts roses, dark pink spray roses, pink hyacinth, tulips, green hydrangeas, huckleberry greenery, and sea star fern. So yeah, very unique, very different than you just go in and, not that the roses, just regular roses, are just regular stargazer lilies, which you all know is one of my favorite flowers. But I love the fact that she does more unique and brings in flowers that maybe you've never even heard of before. So thank you again to Sarah Ward at Wildflowers STL. So if you're thinking about buying some flowers, it's not too late for today and tomorrow for Galentine's and for Valentine's Day. Remember them. Support those that are supporting us. STLWinegirl's been visiting with us, and we're talking about some big celebrations. Before we get into this 15th anniversary celebration, the love and the branding and everything, you work with so many different restaurants and events and have had so many collaborations. I know you feel blessed for that.
I absolutely do. I didn't know what to expect. Moving back to St. Louis, I admittedly kicking and screaming, didn't know how I would fit in here after, studying all this, but I happily put my foot in my mouth. As you mentioned earlier, we have so many incredible chefs and restaurants and wine professionals and bartenders here that I feel more like, I feel like I fit in more here than I ever did in San Francisco or New York or anything like that.
Oh, I love that.
And, one thing I always tell my friends in other cities is the collaborative mindset in St. Louis is unlike any other city I've visited or people I know work in, because a lot of those places, it's cutthroat, it's competition, and I feel like here it's a lot of support. We have to work together to all, not only let the rest of the country know that we're not just a flyover city,
right,
and that we can boost each other up and it doesn't take anything away from what each other are doing.
Right.
And that's something that has benefited, what I do, but it's also just something I enjoy to be part of and watch other people do. So.
I agree. There's so many events that, again, I've seen you at, and I love to see chef after chef, anybody in the industry, of how they lift each other up and how it's like a fraternity and a sorority, right? They want them all to do well. Yes. Of course there's competition. You always have a choice of where you're going to go out to eat, what event are you going to go to. But I love how you'll see them all together and say, hey, you need to go and visit this person or that person.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you're right. You don't see that as much in other cities.
No.
That's the love. We have this big city feel with the small town heart.
It really is. And I think that it's a benefit. And I think that's why people want to come here and open restaurants and such, because we just, I don't know, there's just something here that the camaraderie amongst people here. I mean, not that people aren't in competition with each other, and not that, you know, those natural things are happening. And, you know, there's probably some people that don't like each other. I don't know. But, like, for the most part, you know, like, you'll see all the barbecue guys together, and they're recommending each other's restaurants. And, you know, that's something you don't see a lot in other places. And I think it's really special.
Absolutely. So from the branding aspect, you have helped, and let's get into this for people that don't know exactly what she does with STLWinegirl, the branding, the event planning, you know, all of that. What are you most proud of over these 15 years?
Well, I think, I mean, one of the things I think is that I've always been open for, like, the change and the constant, like, you know, the evolving of my business. Because when I first started, you know, I did a lot of, like, private in-home tastings, dinners, classes, things like that. And then at that time, that's right when, like, Twitter launched and Facebook pages and things. So I had no money. So I was using those to promote myself. And then it got to a point where restaurants realized, oh, we have to do that too now, right? Like, you can't just have a website, you have to be online. So I had all these, like, friends being like, can you teach me how to do that? And then I realized, oh, I can do that for them. And that became a big part of my business. And so I think one thing I'm proud of is that just like I said before, like, the hospitality aspect is really important to me. I feel like I'm not only providing that hospitality to the people that come to my dinners, my classes, things like that, but I'm providing that for my fellow industry people. Like, it is the fact that I get to, like, get online and help promote what they're doing and create a branding, marketing strategy, but also just help them visualize their dreams makes my dreams come true even more, because I feel like I'm helping spread the word of all the cool stuff other people are doing. So I think that's the part I always, like, some of the things that people don't even realize they're talking, like, they'll message a restaurant and they don't even realize they're talking to me.
Right.
And I think that that's what I'm proud of, is that I am able to help. You know, it's not just about what I'm doing, it's about helping what other people are doing.
And for people who, Angela, are just in their jobs, they go in and day out, they hate it. They literally use the word hate, which I can't wrap my brain around why you would continue to walk that life. But you have this other burning desire inside of you. Speak to them. How do you get them to leap? And I know it's scary. I mean, here, you and I both, female-owned businesses, entrepreneurs in a world that wants to be against you. What do you say to them?
Okay, so I have a less than traditional story, because I was working and I started a blog in the middle of the night, like maybe after some wine. And it was mostly because I wanted to share because I had the opposite experience. Like, I didn't start in a smaller town and then move to a bigger city with my wine knowledge. I, like, was in the big place and coming back. So it was me trying to write about my experience. And then that became, you know, people started reading it, started contacting me. The idea to just, like, take the leap, I think a lot of it was, for me, it was, like, my personal situation. I mean, everybody, you know, like, I think obviously you have to factor in your family, your obligations and things like that. But for me, I always believe that if you're passionate about something, you will work harder at it. It's not as tedious. It is something fun. And I mean, we're living in the best time ever to be an entrepreneur, right? Like, there are so many avenues of ways to start businesses, between online outlets and things like that, you know, even if it starts as, like, a side hustle, which I know that doesn't really make sense because it's like having 2 full-time jobs. But if you're working towards something and you're passionate about it, and, like, for me, it's not even like, you can love a subject matter, but if it makes you want to work harder because that's how much you love it, then it's worth pursuing. Because we can all work hard at a job that we don't particularly love, but you apply that same energy to something that is more important to you, it actually ends up being 3 times as much energy, because you're not dreading every keystroke, every email, every phone call that comes through. And for me, I think I just was very fortunate to kind of take that leap and be embraced. I constantly try to tell people, like, it's not an easy decision to come by, but if you can set yourself up for success, I think that it's worth it.
Well, and for you, 15 years ago, to be so ahead of the game, because now everybody's wanting to jump on board. Everybody thinks they can write about food and wine. And well, and although you have whatever feelings you have about social media from a business standpoint, it's incredible for you. I mean, how else are we coming to you right now if we didn't have that? So here she is 15 years ago over some good wine, making this decision. I'm going to write, I'm going to consult, I'm going to put this out there. And then if I build it, they might come. And then they do. And then here we are 15 years later. You've got a big celebration that's coming up later this month, and you've got some big names involved in it.
I do. I don't know how it could be 15 years because I'm still 25, but no, I am really excited to be celebrating 15 years of yes, this passion that turned into this. And so I've decided to throw, every once in a while I do what I call like a Biz B-Day party, and I have decided to throw one for the 15th anniversary. The theme to it is like 15 people, places, experiences, foods, wines that have either impacted or inspired my career. But I also don't want anybody to feel like they're coming to a party that's like about my life. It's really just really cool food and wine and pairings, and we're going to have specialty cocktails and beer and all kinds. We're flying different ingredients in from around the country. And then I'm very fortunate to have some really cool winemakers in my corner, locally based, not local wine, but locally based, Michael Kennedy, he makes wines out of California, Oregon, Washington, Italy, France, everywhere. We're going to be featuring his wines. And then also I have a really great friend named Andre Mack who makes wine out of Oregon, and he was a sommelier for like the French Laundry and Per Se. Then started making his own wine, and now he has like the most popular like wine show on YouTube. And we've been really great buddies, and he has carved out time in his schedule to come hang out with everybody here for my party. And I'm like, don't worry about my party. Come hang out with these guys. They're way cooler than I am.
No, like, you're all cool together.
But
how did you meet him?
Just through the wine industry. You know, our careers have overlapped in different places, and then when he started making wine, when he was coming to the St. Louis market for the first time via Facebook, he reaches out to me and he's like, "You're literally the only person I know that lives in St. Louis. I'm coming to town. Can you give me an advice?" And, we hung out, and now we've become great friends, and he's extremely supportive of everything I do. And, he's got way cooler stuff going on than I do, but he always, it's that supportive thing. And like Michael Kennedy, same thing doing. And then I have chef friends that are getting involved that all have these amazing things they're doing that for some reason think what I'm doing is worthwhile for them to get involved in. And so it's just going to be a really fun celebration of all the I'm going to have foods, we're doing like toasted ravioli and barbecue pairings, but I'm flying in these very specific oysters from the San Francisco Bay Area because they're all like key moments in my life of when I was like tasted something the first time and I was like, oh, like those things together, because we have, even as sommeliers now, even if you've been doing it for 20 years, we still have those light bulb moments that we're like, I did not expect that. And so I kind of want to help showcase that. And then we're going to have some interactive things. I'm going to have like a station where like you learn, one of the ways I learned how to pick out aromas in wine is I had a wine director who had like one of those boxes where he had like cherries and herbs and everything, and we would smell. And so I'm kind of recreating that experience. I'm going to have a play on a cheese cart featuring some of my favorite cheeses from around the world and pairings. Just trying to make it really fun, and partnering with Marianne Velasco, who is a chef friend of mine, and she's the co-owner of Nudo House, but her culinary background includes literally every cuisine, so anything I've thrown at her for that, she's like making all of this cool stuff for me, and I don't know, I'm really just excited. It's about me being grateful to what this community has done, but also like looking through all of I've gotten to do a lot of really cool stuff over the years, and I still sometimes can't believe it, and I'm like, people really let me just like make up this business, and they're still going with it. Like, I feel like at some point somebody's gonna be like, I don't think you're allowed to do this, but I can, because people ask like, what is your business? I'm like, I get paid to eat, drink, and talk.
Drink and talk, yes.
Like, that is I don't know how much better it can get than that.
It is. You probably pinch yourself on a regular basis.
Yes.
But I love, and I hope you all are getting that. The humble side of Angela is what I've always loved about her. Yes, she does some really cool things. She hangs with some really cool people. She's bringing people in, literally flying in for 24 hours, and Andre's going right back out. He has, I think, like 1 million followers on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, but he probably is on there as well and probably has that many. I love it, and I didn't know about him until you introduced us that way, and I started following him. I'm like, oh, this guy's really cool. So those are the kind of things that you get a chance to do. So tell us where, when, and then we're also going to be giving a pair of tickets away before we wrap up in the next 20 minutes.
So it is going to be on Monday, February 26th. We're taking over Miley Restaurant. Kui is a very good friend of mine, and he is... it's their off day, so we're just going to transform that into the party. It starts at 6:30. Tickets are $65, but that's all inclusive of the 30 different wines, 10 different cocktails, everything that we're going to have, all of the foods. I do have special ticketing on there. Like if you're a non-alcoholic drinker, we're going to have some NA beverages, and there are options for people who don't love. If you don't have to be like a wine connoisseur. Obviously, it's going to be wine heavy, but we have a lot of other fun things in store. And it's just going to be like a casual, it's not like a wine dinner. It's a mingling, kind of tasting stations, meet other people. There's going to be chefs and winemakers there to chat with. And I just want everybody to come and have a good time. Hopefully taste some things you've never tasted before. I always try to have a component that is like educational without being too serious.
Sure.
I want it to be fun. And, I'm just going to stand on the sidelines and be like, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for being here for
Yes.
15 years, which is just amazing.
It's wild.
You were just looking at the website, by the way. That's where you can purchase tickets. That is a great ticket price for all that you're providing.
Because, again, it's a gratitude thing, so it's not about profit or anything. I just want to be able to provide cool stuff for people to be able to taste, and, I want it to be accessible.
Well, there's also, besides that website, there's another website that I want you to know about, and we were just talking about profit. This woman has raised a heck of a lot of money for something that's very near and dear to her. We're going to get into that aspect, and before the show wraps up, we're going to give you a pair of tickets so you can go to Miley on the 26th, on that Monday night, for the Big 15 event. So stay tuned. We still have much more to come here on The Real Monica Adams Show.
You are truly an incredible human being, and just what you're doing is so inspiring. This was really a cathartic experience for me. So I appreciate you, love you.
It's been an honor to not only just be here on set with you, but just to sit in your presence. You inspire everyone around you, from your motivational speaking to your podcast here, to just being the human that you are.
It's just such a joy to be able to see you at this point in your career. Really following your passion, fulfilling your dreams, and encouraging other people to do the same.
I feel that I've been missing out. I believe God places people like you in people's lives for a reason. You have definitely been a God wink for me.
Welcome back, 7:43. Love to have you with us. I'm your host, Monica Adams. Angela Ortmann, STLWinegirl, is my guest. And let's see if any of you have any comments or questions. Somebody just said that's a very affordable, great price. Thank you, Angela. If you could pick one white and one red wine with a $15 to $30 price range, what comes to mind?
Like producer and everything? Well, that's really hard.
So let's just think this way. If they're running up to their favorite wine place or grocery store or whatever, and they're trying to get something for Galentine's tonight, do you have maybe a couple reds or whites that you can think of?
So rather than, because every grocery store and everything has a different section. One thing what I do is try to give you like some fun regions to look for. So anything kind of Central Coast California, especially for red wine, like Paso Robles or anything off the Central Coast. I really love, they do like kind of Rhone blends, so like Syrah blends. You can find those at really great prices. I'm a big fan of almost anything coming out of Oregon. I love my California wines all day long, but if you look for like Pinot Noirs, Rieslings, things like that from that northwest area of the country, you can get great values, and they are delicious food wines. So I would go with things like that. And then bubbles, I mean, you can always snag Prosecco for, a really good price. I would say also like Italian wine. I mean, I'm not talking about like Chianti in the jug. I'm talking about like legit Italian wines. You can find some really awesome blends for in that like $20-$25 range.
I love blends.
I think, people tend to think anything from Europe is going to either, if it's in their price range, it's not going to be very good, and what they would like is very expensive, but that's just not the case anymore. So yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for me to like throw out producers
and
because
names,
everybody's got such a different wine selection, but I would look for like regions like that, like things that you haven't explored before. If you're at a wine shop, ask for something from the Finger Lakes region of New York. That's one of my favorite domestic regions that isn't as well known, and they make some beautiful wines up there, and it's distributed. It's not like hard to find, but
and of course, because they were a sponsor of our show last year, I would love for you to go over to Clayton Winehouse and see our friends over there. They can all help you. You just got some information from Angela. Maybe you go over there and talk to Chris and the staff and say, okay, Finger Lakes, can you help us with this?
Absolutely.
Somebody said this was a really good show with a lot of hope for us. Absolutely. When I was growing up on the farm, my dad would get grapes from Michigan at Soulard, and he would make a delicious sweet red and clear wine. I loved it, and maybe that's why I like sweet wines.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, Missouri too, like the first things we're introduced to here usually are sweeter wines, but Michigan makes some really cool stuff. Texas is all 50 states are making wine now, and we're just everywhere is just getting better at it.
Absolutely.
And Missouri wines, we do tend to think they're always sweet, but we have some really great dry whites and reds that are just, they're phenomenal. And
well, Chuck Galentine, right? So he's our newest sponsor. We're going to do a Chardonnay tomorrow, which a lot of people are like, wait, what's a Chardonnay? Not the Chardonnay. Are you not saying it right? No, it's Chardonnay.
It is.
So it's really the fun and the education is what we get into with this. Anything local. Well, we just mentioned Defiance, but somebody just said anything local wine that you like. Again, this is like asking her to pick a baby.
I know. It's like picking a child, right? I've always been a really big fan of like Chamet, and Chandler Hill makes great stuff. But like the go-tos of like Augusta and Montel wineries, they make just some really great, especially, maybe you don't always find it on like the shelf at the grocery store, but like look elsewhere or even go by there because they make some like smaller production stuff that is just absolutely delicious. But locally, I think that we tend to think we know what all Missouri wine tastes like, and it's just as vast and broad as the rest of the world. So. And
Joe, I did see your comment. A non-alcohol Wet Your Whistle Wednesday show or a segment on a future show might be of interest to your viewers. I know it would me. You got it. We will absolutely do that. And I always say that, by the way, if you're not, even some of the events we've had in the past, I've always said we will make sure we have mocktails for you, which has become a really big thing over the last multiple years.
And like
I love that.
The selection now of non-alcoholic wines, beers, even spirits. I mean, it's grown tremendously, which is really cool because you shouldn't feel like, that's why I have a non-alcoholic ticket for my event, because you don't have to either whether you're choosing to, or maybe you're the designated driver because your friends are gonna drink too much wine. There's having those cool options that isn't just, I can offer you a Coke. Right. I think it's important.
Absolutely. And this is what's interesting. I told you when we came back from the break that we were going to talk about another website. So we're talking about STLWinegirl that you can go to for the tickets and to know all about the wonderful things Angela does. But also Love to Eat, Eat to Love, a food, drink movement to raise funds and awareness for crucial issues. And this is kind of interesting because this is what has happened while you and I have been talking. Kind of eerie. I literally have chills right now. There's a woman who has been at my class that I have, the Cultivating a Vision, which we do have coming up, by the way, on February 21st. That's our third that I'm holding with Cassius Satars, and it's to help you out of hard times that you're having. But Angela, there's a woman who wrote on here and said, I know this isn't part of your show today, but I made my biggest step by calling the police on my husband who is mentally abusing me. It's heartbreaking. I need a lot of support. I can't wait for your class, their part 3. This is so horrible to make this step after 30 years of my life, but I took that big step, and it's heart-wrenching. Catherine, I hope you're I have chills. Catherine, I hope you're still on, because you had no idea that we were going to go here. You probably don't know about this site and the wonderful work that Angela has been doing, but this has to do with domestic violence victims and survivors. Love to Eat, Eat to Love raised $50,000 in October of 2022 for organizations aiding you, all you victims and survivors out there. That's kind of eerie.
Yeah, that's more than a coincidence, I think. But yes.
I got chills. That's so you started this. You've actually, I think I saw that you've raised $65,000 plus.
Right. So it started in 2017 when things started to get a little messy with kind of like immigrant issues and things like that. And I had made a post on Facebook, because I'm always on social media, encouraging chef friends to maybe like team up with, because again, we do so much collaborations in St. Louis. I was encouraging people to like team up with a locally owned local immigrant owned restaurant to maybe do some specials to try to show some love, because some people were getting a lot of backlash and there were damages done to restaurants. And literally overnight it turned into like George Mahey called me the next morning from St. Louis Magazine. He's like, figure out what you're going to do, because this is clearly an event and you're going on TV later to talk about it. And so I put together the first event, which was Love to Eat, Eat to Love, the first one, and I paired up 52 chefs and immigrant chefs that collaborated on dishes that we did a huge event for. We did one later that year called Force de Femme, that it was all women, like, chefs, winemakers, everything. So the first one we donated to like International Institute. The second one we donated to like women's empowerment groups. We raised some money during COVID for some of the industry people that were out of work. And then in October, we did the domestic violence one, which raised more money than I could have ever dreamed. So it's just something that, I mean, I get asked to be part of a lot of charity events and everything, which I love to do. But I'm just somebody who, when something happens, I end up putting my hands in the dirt on it, I guess. And so I started these, and I'd love it if I could do them like twice a year, but it's a big production, and so it usually is born out of something that's going on. So the first one, like I said, was out of some of that was going on. The Me Too movement was later that year. That's what inspired the Force de Femme, obviously the COVID part, and then a domestic violence issue that made the news here from within the industry sparked my desire to do that one. So it's kind of just as things come up that I feel like our community wants to support, and we're better when we all get together. And I'm the person who will go around and knock on everybody's door and get them to be involved. So,
well, thank you for what you're doing, because these are the kind of topics that we cover on this show as well. I love that we have this up, free 24/7 confidential National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. And that's for all of you that are suffering in silence. I want to applaud you, by the way, for what you have done, you, Angela, and Catherine, who is watching, and for all of you, if you know someone, or if it is you, know that you do not belong in that one more second, and we do want to get you out of that violence and get you to your best life. There are people in that hotline, there are organizations that will help you, very near and dear to her heart, mine as well, to help as many of you, men and women both, are in that type of violence. So we're not just going to say it's just women, but thank you for what you've done for that. I wanted to make sure that we address that for sure. People are saying prayers and strength to you, Catherine. Thank you, Angela, for your support to many victims. Truly a God wink, absolutely. So much that's going on in our world that we're trying to find light for. That's what the show has all been about. All right, we're going to wrap up. STLWinegirl.com. I want you to look at that site. Purchase tickets to be there on the 26th. Again, taking over. Quee, by the way, tell him I said hi. Love him. STLWinegirl.com and Love to Eat, EatToLove.com. You can find out more information about everything we're talking about. We are going to give away 2 tickets. Thank you for being able to provide these for our winners. So we're going to do that, and we're going to give away our VIP package. Tomorrow's the ultimate VIP, but a big VIP package so that you can attend the 37th annual Working Women's Show. We'll do that as well. So one thing that we do at the end of the show is our devotions, Angela. So I have these books. I'm going to let you pick from. You can either pick a color, or I'll tell you that one of them is 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety,
Okay.
from anger, depression,
Okay.
overeating,
Okay.
or shame. Which one do you feel?
Fear.
Fear. All right. And it's purple for Mardi Gras.
That was purposeful, I swear.
100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. We'll read from that. We're going to pull 2 names for our big giveaway. And thank you again to each and every one of you that have been a part of the show today. Thank you, Angela, for coming in. I appreciate it. Great to see you again. And I know you're going to have huge success that night. And with everything she does, she touches it and it turns to gold. STLWinegirl.com. We'll have more as we wrap up our show in just a minute.
Think about this. When's the last time you called your doctor at 2 o'clock in the morning and he actually answered? Well, at Innovare Health Advocates, their patients are special. Their doctors, nurse practitioners, their care team care deeply about your health, your family, your work, and even your pet. Their clinicians are accessible and they lead your care in and out of the hospital. In fact, Dr. Charles Willie offers his cell phone number to his patients to ensure they can intervene early in your illness. They can provide care above and beyond, offering lab, x-ray, echocardiogram, and other treatments in their office. Innovare Health Advocates with 5 locations on both sides of the river. Check them out, innovarehealth.com. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
Well, welcome back. 7:57 into our final few minutes of the show. If you're new to the show, you might not know this, but this is how we wrap up. We have a devotional at the end of the show. I always want to bring that element into the show, so it gives you a little hope, whatever your beliefs are, God, spirituality, just something that guides you, someone that guides you. And I think we can all come together and surrender. Day 25 of 100 Days to Freedom. This one is Fear and Anxiety that Angela chose. It's from Stephen Arterburn. We love him and these books. It's give your burdens to the Lord and he will take care of you. He will not permit the godly to slip and fall. Psalm 55 verse 22. You know, one of the most difficult things to do when you're feeling anxious is to let go of the thing that you're worried about. Anxiety actually is more about control than anything else. You feel out of control when you're feeling anxious and not in control. There's little in life that we do control. And so when the unexpected comes, we begin to focus on what could go wrong, what could help, what should have happened, etc. What would it be like to surrender those thoughts and concerns to the Lord? Think about that. You may have already been in prayer about your issue. You may have connected with a trusted friend. You may have already talked to a counselor. But what about surrendering to God all of your worries? It may seem impossible to hand over your concerns. If he had it under control, you wouldn't be worried, right? Well, the truth is that God cares about your concerns and your life. The decision to give your worries to the Lord, that's a daily choice, sometimes hourly, even second by second. It's a practice, it's a discipline, which will bring you peace. God promises to care for you. Make the choice to surrender to him today. You all know that I had no idea that Angela was going to choose this one, but it kind of goes into what we were talking about here in the last 10 minutes, and it also goes into this. Discipline, right? I always pick a word of the day, and I am thankful for having the discipline. I know it's hard each and every day to try to surrender aspects. Randy Alcorn said, instead of worrying, we're to thank God for his promise to work everything together for good, trusting in his sovereign grace. And greater is thy care for me than all the care I can exercise over myself. So the prayer to end today, Lord God, today I'm handing over my worries to you. I know you will provide an answer and loving care for me. Amen. I'm going to devote that to Catherine, who we know is suffering. Thank you, by the way, for being so raw and putting that out there for us, because that can be one of the scariest things of all. And she put it to this community that we have formed over the last year, this beautiful community that comes together every day like clockwork. If I'm not on at 7 a.m., I know you'll all start chirping and barking at me. Where are you? Where are you? So thank you. And yes, I see so many of you sending prayers to Catherine, and I love that. Wonderful. Thank you for that reading. Well, you're welcome, Julie. And guess what? You're the winner. Julie Purcell, you get the tickets to attend the 15th anniversary celebration that Angela is going to be throwing on February 26th at Miley. So we'll make sure that she gets your information, your email, etc. Have fun with that. I can't wait to hear what you think about the night. And yes, tickets are available at STLWinegirl.com. And hats by Diane. We love her so much. I asked Angela if she knows her. She said, absolutely. Diane Isbell, you're going to the Working Women's Show. You get the VIP package. It's going to be so much fun. So congratulations. We'll get all the information that you need as well. Everybody, thank you for being a part of today's show. And I hope you all have a wonderful Galentine's Day. Enjoy your Fat Tuesday celebration. And then tomorrow, Ash Wednesday and Valentine's Day is on the exact same day, kicking off. It's Love Day. We're going to talk a little bit about love. We have Wet Your Whistle Wednesday tomorrow at 4 o'clock with Chuck Galentine with Defiance Ridge Vineyards. We have Positive Talk Time at Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa on Thursday with our wonderful friend Jessica Cook, and we'll be featuring Theo up for adoption, trying to find their forever homes, and Annalise Parks, my former coworker at Fox 2. She joins me on Friday from Dallas. She left the industry like I did. What is she up to these days? And her beautiful family and her child. We'll talk all about that as we wrap up the week. And we'll be talking possibly about snow, by the way, because we said that kind of snuck in. We'll have more on the weather for you on that as we get closer into the week. We thank again Angela Ortmann, STLWinegirl, for being our guest today. Pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. And there's all of her information one last time. To all of you, thank you so much for tuning in today. And I say it all the time. Go out, be anything you want to be in this world. But before you're anything, be kind. God bless you all.